Thanks to a wanted poster in the Mucho Loma Husgao,
Guadalupe Rodriguez, wanted for singing song.
Rocky and Bullwinkle finally got a line on the true identity of the Bandit Zero.
More speed, Jelly, 'cause jam don't shake like that.
Pardon me, senor, but they said you're Guadalupe Rodriguez.
It would have been futile for the timid-looking fellow to deny it, for he was caught iron-handed.
That branding iron you're cleaning is the one Zero uses.
Which can mean only one thing.
What's that, Bullwinkle?
I was kind of hoping you wouldn't ask.
Well, it meant that Senor Rodriguez was the one, the only...
May Bush!
Zero!
Let's grab him!
Unfortunately, Zero's valiant steed, Esmeralda, ran to the rescue and deposited our heroes at the bottom of the well.
Save me, Rock! I can't swim!
Oh, for goodness sake, there's only a foot of water down here.
Yes, they wouldn't perish from drowning.
Yeah, but we might from starvation unless we can climb out. Pull on the rope, Bullwinkle. See if it's strong enough to hold us.
The magnificent moose complied.
Did you hear what he called me?
Please pull on the rope.
He never used an adjective like that before.
The rope, Bullwinkle.
Suppose he's shining up to me for something. Maybe a loan.
Bullwinkle, if you don't...
Okay, Rock.
And his mighty muscles strained, tugging desperately at the rope's end, testing its every fiber, investigating every single strand of that life-giving...
Magnificent moose, huh? You're just having one of your wordy days, that's all.
Well, we can't climb out. I guess it's the old one, too.
Ellie!
And up he flew like a veritable bird of paradise, spreading its multicolored...
Oh, come on.
Forgive me. Rocky plummeted out of the well and in no time lowered a ladder which enabled his comrade to also escape.
Now what, Rock?
Now we got a score to settle. We're going to catch that Zero guy.
His flying tail all abristle, Rocky led the way back into Mucho Loma. It wasn't easy getting through the mud, but Rocky was determined to reach Old Berry's 5 and 10.
Si, senors.
Do you have any Halloween costumes?
Oh, si. But why should anyone dressed like a moose and squirrel require a costume?
These, sir, are our naturals.
A bit of bargaining, and seconds later, behind the old red barn at the far end of town...
Starting to get dark, Bullwinkle. Zero will come riding into town just like he always does, and bam! We'll have him.
Right. Bam! We'll have him.
You're not afraid?
I'm fearless.
Good. Put on the costume.
Why the costume, Rock?
We're gonna trap Zero with it.
Like the man at the 5 and dime said, if I am dressed like a moose, why, on the name of Rudolph Hess do I...
With darkness spreading fast, there was no time for an explanation. Rocky took out a coin, flipped it.
Tails!
Bullwinkle was correct. It landed on Rocky's tail, and it came up heads. Always a good loser, Bullwinkle withdrew to the confines of the barn. A moment or two later, he appeared as...
Mother of pearl, I'm dressed like Zero.
With one exception. Your branding iron has an X at the bottom. You, Bullwinkle, are the Bandit X.
I know there's not much time left in this episode, so can you tell me how I'm supposed to trap Zero?
I'm afraid there's only enough time to look in on the other end of town. Sure enough, Zero has galloped in to stage another of his noisy attacks. What is Rocky's plan? Will his trap work? Don't miss our next magnificent episode. Oh, there I go again. The Unsatisfied Costumer, or why not try Brand X?
Once upon a time, which is always a nice way to start a fairy tale, there was a great white castle in which lived a powerful duke who was a very proud man. He was proud because he was tall and straight and handsome and brave, but he was proudest of all when he took off his hat, for he had a huge head of bushy, flaming red hair not to be equaled by anyone in the kingdom.
Oh, I love my red hair. It gives me fire.
He would comb it 100 strokes every day.
1 potato, 2 potatoes, 3 potato, 4.
It was his habit upon arising each morning to go to his mirror, which, by the way, was a magic mirror, admire his flaming locks, then...
Mirror, mirror, hanging there, tell me who has the reddest hair.
Violets are blue, roses are red, but it's only your dome that is redder than red.
This went on day after day, year after year, and the mirror always answered the same. That is, until one morning...
Mirror, mirror, hanging there, tell me who has the reddest hair.
Your hair is red, that's very true. But the girl who spins has hair redder than you.
Who?
Girl who spins.
Redder than me?
Makes you look like a bleached blonde, Bubby.
Shocked and horrified, the Duke ran to his address book.
G. Girl who spins. 728, small house in the forest.
Armed with the address, the Duke mounted his fastest horse and galloped off into the forest at top speed. When he arrived, he saw that what the mirror had said was true, for there, at a spinning wheel, sat a lovely young girl that had long, blazing red hair that hung down to her, hips.
My, but that's red. I say, what is your name, fair maiden?
My hair is red as fire and my skin is white as cream, so my name is Red White.
Hair's red, all right. Rinse job?
No, natural.
Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you'll have to dye it black.
Oh, I can't.
Why not?
I'm waiting for my true love, and he will only know me by my red hair. My fairy godmother told me so.
Now, see here. I happen to be a powerful duck.
That's Duke.
Oh, thank you. And you'd better dye your hair black, or you're going to find yourself in big trouble.
With that, the Duke turned and galloped away. Not as fast as he had arrived, however, for he had forgotten his horse. The poor girl was frightened, and as she sat weeping, her fairy godmother appeared.
Oh, there, honey. Now, don't blubber.
But if I dye my hair, my true love won't know me. And if I don't, I'll get into big trouble.
You just leave it red, dearie. I can handle that duck.
That's Duke.
Oh, yes.
The following morning...
Mirror, mirror, hanging there. Tell me now who has the reddest hair.
Red, white, like I said. Weren't you listening?
News is bad enough, but you didn't even bother to make a rhyme out of it.
Furious, the Duke wasted no time.
You must dye your hair black within 24 hours, or you will go to the pokey. Now, good day.
Godmother!
Oh, here I am, honey. Don't come unglued. Take these nettles that grow beside the road and put them in your spinning wheel. Every day you spin nettles, that Duke will lose 32 hairs.
Doing as she was told, Red White took the nettles and set herself to spinning. The very next day, the Duke was combing his hair the usual 100 strokes when...
1 potato, 2 potatoes, 3 potatoes, 4, 5 potatoes, 6 potatoes... Hey, what's this? My comb, it's full of hair. Mirror, mirror, look at this. My beautiful red hair is coming out.
I can see that, Bubby, and you're not rhyming either.
I know. There's no time for that. Tell me what's happening.
Well, you understand, it's like kind of a hex. You know, a fairy tale whammy. Every day that Red White spins nettles, you lose 32 hairs.
The fiend. She's got to be stopped.
Taking a stout rope, the Duke sped to Red White and bound her securely.
There. Oh, I'd like to see you spin nettles with your hands tied, buddy.
But she did. For being a clever girl, Red White managed quite well to spin more nettles with her feet.
29, 30, 31, 32. Oh, she's at it again. Mirror, speak to me. What am I going to do?
I'm rather sorry that you called, for by tomorrow you shall be bald.
Excellent. You're rhyming again.
I know, makes it more like a fairy tale.
And just as the mirror had said, by the following day, every last red hair on the Duke's head was gone.
You can stop spinning now, kid. You win. And I might add, I'm very unhappy about the whole thing.
Well, I'm unhappy, too. Even though I've kept my red hair, my true love has not come for me.
Gee, that's tough. Well, so long.
Wait. It seems as though I've made a slight mistake. The duck here...
That's Duke.
Yes, the Duke here. He's your true love.
Me?
Him?
Darling.
Sweetie.
It's too bad I didn't figure that out till he lost his hair, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
And so, as you knew they would...
They lived happily ever after. Hey, Bubby, what rhymes with after?
we must get to the north end of Mucho Loma. For last time, you may not recall, Rocky instructed Bullwinkle in the art of wearing a disguise.
I look like the bandit Zero.
Except for one thing.
My antlers?
Your branding iron.
Whereas Zero's had a zero, Bullwinkle's had an X.
Don't you see? Zero'll come riding into town, you'll jump out, and he'll probably be so shocked at seeing another bandit, he'll probably turn right around and never come back.
That word probably. Couldn't you make that undoubtedly?
There was no time for any changes, for just as we closed up shop last time, the object of their attention, and it wasn't Pinky Tomlin, rode into town determined to make more noise than he'd ever made before.
Yo-ho, town! Here's your Big Mad Bandit. Come to make sure you don't get no sleep. Everybody, China rice. Eggs on the table. Okay, out of the pool. Here we go. The 12-auto is leaving for Memphis.
Hey, that sounds like Zero.
Sounds more like Daddy Warbucks.
Down the muddy main street, the noisy Desperado rode, poking his hot branding iron everywhere.
Here he comes. Okay, Bullwinkle, jump out and give him the shock of his life.
Bullwinkle jumped out and into the deepest mud hole in town.
Stay back, Rock. Don't let the Okey-Finokey get you, too.
He was on the verge of getting out. As the first rays of sunlight poked themselves up over the hills, the sun and Bullwinkle came out.
Hokey smokes, all night wasted.
Yeah, and that doggone Zero feller got away Bill Scott clean.
Not quite, senor.
What an agonizing situation to get free of a mud hole only to find a row of rifles pointing at you.
Say, what's going on here?
Please to step aside, little one. We only wish to shoot Zero.
Zero?
Where?
There.
Me?
See.
Yeah, but he's only dressed like Zero.
Don't try to confuse us. Aside from the silly hat, he is the spitting image of our hated enemy.
Despite the little squirrel's objections, Bullwinkle was unceremoniously dumped into the Mucho Loma jail.
The very same jail I was in episode 2.
Outside his cell window, an angry mob thought of taking matters into their own hands.
Tar and feather the rascal. Deport him to Bayonne, New Jersey.
Write a letter to his mother.
That's when Rocky brought the judge to Bullwinkle's cell.
Your Honor, he is not Zero, he's Bullwinkle.
I shall ask 3 questions. Numero 1. What would you call a Japanese fighting plane during World War II?
Zero.
Uh-huh. What was little Annie Rooney's dog named?
Zero.
Senor, you are the one we seek.
Yeah, but he isn't. He's too smart to be a bandit. Tell him what your IQ is, Bullwinkle.
You just slammed the lid on my coffin.
Where's our sheriff?
Asleep. Since we caught Zero, we can siesta.
I wish I could siesta. She lives in Frostbite Falls.
Well, I guess there's nothing anyone can do. Goodbye, Zero.
Goodbye, Rock.
Oh, here's a cigar in case you'd like to smoke. It is okay for him to have this.
What harm can a cigar do?
What good can it do is what I'd like to know.
Just make sure you light it near the cell window. You'll get a bang out of it. Understand?
Oh, if only he did understand, for inside that outer wrapping was a stick of TNT. TNT that could blow the back wall down and provide an avenue of escape. Will it come off? Don't miss our next explosive episode, The Inferior Decorator, or Wall-Eyed Moose.
And now, here's that master of all trades with Jack from none, Mr. Know-It-All.
Hello there, friends. Today we benefit from my highly successful book, How to Teach a Mean Bully a Lesson at the Beach. First, it is essential to find a lovely young girl in front of whom you can show off by defending her honor. Pardon me, lovely lady, but I wish to defend your honor should a big, rough, mean, loathsome bully kick sand in your eyes and... Which brings us to point 2. Always be careful in selecting a real lady to defend. Here's a real one. Now, we wait for a bully to come by and kick sand. Notice how I allow him to build up a false sense of security by pretending to ignore him. Now comes the really meaty part. See, for 3 months I study my book, How to Teach a Mean Bully a Lesson at the Beach. And now I'm ready. Pardon me, young lady, but should a bully come along, I am prepared to defend your honor. Notice that a bully is approaching. Pardon me, sir, but you are a cad. You threw sand at us, and I am prepared to teach you a lesson you will never forget. Well, I lost the battle, but I've gained a friend. Right, little lady?
Gosh, Mr. Know-It-All, looks like your book was a failure.
No, Rock, it was a brilliant success.
Success?
Sure, look. That's the book she's been reading. Hello again, Peabody here. Today, Sherman and I are going to visit a gym.
The YMCA's?
Mother Bowie's.
Never heard of it.
Not it, him.
I still
Never
don't...
mind. Get into the Wayback Machine. As I was saying, today we are going back to Mississippi in the year 1825, and we shall visit the legendary James Bowie, who created the Bowie knife. In less time than it takes to tell, we found ourselves on the main street of Biloxi, Mississippi, facing a somewhat ornate-looking restaurant.
Bowie's Beanery. Golly, I didn't know he owned a restaurant, Mr. Peabody.
Neither does he, evidently. There he is over there, sitting on the curb.
What are you doing out here, Mr. Bowie?
Gets pretty lonesome in that there restaurant all by myself.
What about your customers?
What's a customer?
Someone who eats your food.
No one eats my food.
He took us inside the deserted establishment and led us to a table on which sat a huge 4-pound, 2-inch thick porterhouse steak.
Mind if I take a bite, Mr. Bowie?
Not at all. I'll cut you off a hunk.
We stared in horror as Bowie produced a large bore revolver and pumped 6 shots into the steak.
Look, Mr. Peabody, he didn't even dent it.
This didn't bother our host, for he then picked up a large battle axe and deftly cut the table in two. But not the steak.
Now you see why nobody eats here. They can't cut the steaks. I'm as good as room.
Have you tried a knife?
Oh, I wouldn't take the coward's way out.
No. I mean, have you tried a knife on the steaks?
Sure, but they just up and break. Watch.
What you need is a knife stronger than any in the world.
Yes, a Bowie knife.
Wouldn't do no good less than I can get it by dinner time. I got a steak eaters convention coming in here, and if they don't eat, I'm bankrupt.
Then there's no time to lose. We dashed across the street and into a general store.
Knives? What kind of knife?
What kind do you have?
Big and small and sharp and dull and...
This knife must be very unusual.
Only one like that is a factory reject. It's too big, too heavy, and too sharp. Here it is.
What he held up was to become famous as the Bowie knife.
What'll you give me for it?
A nickel?
Suddenly, an unexpected voice rang out from in back of us.
A dime!
He's trying to outbid us, Mr. Peabody.
He wasn't the only one.
$1.
$1.
Yes, we were in the middle of a spirited auction.
$2.
$3.
$4.
1,000.
Why do they want the knife so badly?
Well, that's quite obvious, Sherman. The little fellow is named Jack. He wants it to be called the jackknife. The portly fellow in the middle is named Pen. He wants it to be called the penknife.
Who's the man on the end?
Mr. Butterfield of the Butterfield stage line.
He wants to call it a butter knife?
No, he wants to call it a fork.
Well, why?
He's the village troublemaker. Just then, Bowie made his final bid.
$6,872.
Sold.
Congratulations, Mr. Bowie. You now have your knife.
I will have if I can borrow some money from either of you.
You mean you don't have $6,872?
Well, not quite. I got a nickel, though.
That means we have to raise $6,871.95. And we didn't have much time, for a glance out the window revealed the Steak Eaters Convention was already entering Bowie's restaurant.
Golly, Mr. Peabody, we got 2 minutes to get the money.
Just enough time, for next door to Bowie's Beanery was the Biloxi Bank. In front of it were 3 horses with their motors running. That could mean but one thing, a holdup.
Mr. Peabody, you're going in the wrong direction. The bank's over here.
There was no time to explain. I made tracks to a schoolhouse on the edge of town. Seconds later, the robbers emerged from the bank, got on their steeds, and took off, going right past the schoolhouse. I thought it would be fitting and proper if they would be told off. So, cutting the school bell...
Neatest job outlaw kitchen I ever saw. Here's your reward.
$10,000?
All we need is $6,871.95. The remainder goes to the school bell fund. And so the school got its new bell, the storekeeper got his money, Bowie got his knife, and the steak eaters were able to cut their steaks.
Thanks, Mr. Peabody. I owe it all to you.
Poor Mr. Bowie having to lug those heavy steaks.
Yes, as you can see, it had a damaging effect on his legs.
My gosh, he's bow-legged.
Bowie-legged, Sherman.
Oh, Bowie, Mr. Peabody.
Touché, Sherman.
summarize it, but you are about to witness the stirring conclusion of a long story. A timid little minstrel was thrown into jail for singing during siesta. This so infuriated his Latin blood, he became the masked bandit Zero and rode through the village of Mucho, Loma, keeping everybody up all night. Bang, bang, bang. It fell to our heroes to bring the noisemaker in. Either that or spend 99 years in jail. Bullwinkle, dressed as Zero, was mistaken for the loud night rider, and as we closed our preceding chapter, was languishing in a cell.
I tried to free Bullwinkle, but the judge refused. Finally, in desperation...
Which is the only way we do things on this show.
I gave Bullwinkle a cigar.
But I don't smoke, Rock.
You don't have to. Put it near the window.
Yes, the stogie contained a lethal stick of TNT. Rocky and the judge left the building while the befuddled moose examined his cigar.
Put it near the window. Must be a smelly cigar.
So saying, he struck a match, applied it to the end. What he did next was unbelievable for anyone else but Bullwinkle. He nonchalantly tossed the burning cigar out of the window.
Hokey smokes, that TNT'll never blow the jail wall down now.
The TNT exploded, knocked down a chimney, which landed on an awning. The bricks catapulted across the street, crashed through a window. The sharp pieces of glass severed the base of a telephone pole. The pole collapsed right into, you guessed it, Bullwinkle was free.
Run for it, Bullwinkle!
Alas, the muddy streets of Mucho Loma,
English translation, much mud,
held our antlered friend fast.
So, attempting to escape the Husgau. Citizens, shoot him.
No, wait! I tell you, he's not Zero.
Okay, little one. We're gonna give you just 1 minute to prove that statement.
There wasn't a dry forehead in our group as our valiant hero struggled to come up with a proof.
You got 30 seconds.
One idea after another flitted through his nimble squirrel-like brain.
15 seconds.
The task seemed insurmountable, and then...
I got it!
By George, he's got it.
What you got?
Rocky didn't answer. He merely flew to a nearby wall, picking up the branding iron with the X along the way. Then, dipping it in the mud, he drew a large, muddy version of a tic-tac-toe game.
Let me see. X, 0, X, 0, X, 0, X.
Go ahead, Rock. Put another X down at the bottom and you win the game.
But it isn't my turn, Bullwinkle. It's Zero's.
The temptation was too great. Out of nowhere, the masked loudmouth appeared, and with a flourish, applied his mark to the wall, winning the game, but losing his freedom.
Senor Zero, you are under arrest for 1,000,000 years.
The trial lasted 3 weeks. Rocky and Bullwinkle appeared as witnesses.
You see, Your Honor, Guadalupe didn't know he was breaking the law by singing during siesta.
I agree. Okay, we parole him. That is, if there is anyone here who will take him.
There was, and to this day, if you ever visit New York City, go see the New York Mets play baseball. Who'll be working the scoreboard?
Wish they'd score a run so I could take a break.
As for Rocky and Bullwinkle...
That was a brilliant idea of yours, Rock, that tic-tac-toe game.
Thanks, Bullwinkle.
Oh, don't thank me. It wasn't my wall you muddied up.
Senores, the judge would like very much to see you.
Whose wall was it, Bullwinkle?
I'll give you 3 guesses.
Be with us again in another 30 days for another adventure with Rocky and Bullwinkle.